October Red. I'm here with Johnny Nelson. I'd usually get on the camera with Johnny Nelson, but he's pissed me off. He upset me.
Card kick? That queen, what is it?
So he's trying to sweep me up now because he knows that I'm going to...
Just, actually, what you just did to me over Coogan, you picked him. You were sided with him over me. I'm ashamed of you.
Well, we can talk about being ashamed of people and, you know, how people let people down. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction before we start this conversation. Johnny Nelson was supposed to join my watch-along on the 23rd of December for the Joshua Wallin fight. And he said, listen, don't bother tapping me. I've got to get this introduction straight. And he said, yeah, he's got family round, so he can jump on a little bit, but he can't do a lot. Anyway, this geezer's still trying to interrupt me, yeah, and it's not happening. And he just blanked me. It was no.
Why don't you stand the camera?
Because I need to watch the frame, and I'm not twisting up the something, and I've just connected the mic, and I don't want. In fact, I don't want to stand next to you today.
Number one, I was on granddad duties, and my granddaughter wouldn't let me leave me alone, and it would have mashed up your runnings and looked unprofessional. That's number one. Number two, I said sorry. Number three.
When did you say sorry? Because that live was on the 23rd of December, and I haven't heard from you since. So when did you actually say sorry?
Instagram. Something bait. What do you call it? I don't care. Look on your Instagram.
I've got my Instagram because you sent me some stupid reel, and I told you to piss off. So that's not telling me sorry. Do you want to carry on with the next one?
I did. If you look further up,
no,
you
didn't.
All right, we'll
stop the cap.
We'll do it after camera. Anyway, carry on.
So anyway, so if you've come here from the IFL abuse, this is why. This is why I wanted to get this introduction out of the way because I like to air everything out before we carry on. Anyway, we're back in London. We're at Wembley Box Park. A really good card. I'm looking forward to this fight. It's a fight that I was apprehensive about because I know both guys and they're brilliant guys, and I didn't want to see them fight each other. But we are here. All the talking is almost over, and it's almost fight night. Johnny, talk to me about this fight.
You know what a bill. Jamie TKV, Francesca Hennessy, Caroline Dubois, Adam Azim, Ben Whittaker, and the top of the bill, of course, Joshua Buatsi against Dan Azim. You know what? I like both fighters. Always have been massive fans of them. I'm probably a bigger fan of Dan's because I get it. I get where Dan's coming from. He's had to fight with a chip on his shoulder. Nobody's done him any favours. He's done it the traditional way, and he's raw. You know, he's raw. He's a grafter. He's an honest guy. I actually think that's the guy that will probably take over my job at Sky. He's got character. He's nice. He's honest. The intelligent young man. He's number 2 in the world, fighting number 1 in the world. I think Joshua Buatsi has all the skill in the world. And Saturday night, as long as ego is kept in check, I believe Joshua Buatsi's performance, if he wins, will be the best performance we've seen him have since turning professional. And the reason being is because he knows what's in front of him. If he's foolish enough to get involved in a tear-up, instead of working on the skills that he's got, the skills that made him, gave him a springboard when he turned professional, that's his mistake, and he should know better by now. He can't afford. I think the pressure's on him because if he loses, it looks like he's going back because he's lost to number 2. For Dan, he's got nothing to lose, and all the way through this, and we'll probably see it when we do a live, gloves are off. Dan is trying to pile the pressure on Buatsi to say you're the favourite, accept being the favourite. You don't like being the favourite, and that's the situation he's in. So Dan, he likes to fight with a chip on his shoulder. It gives him that hunter's mentality. I think the fight itself is going to be wicked. I think the fight, so far we've had potential fight of the year. Have you seen 2 guys walking? That was a death stare. That was. So far we've had a potential fight of the year with Natasha Jonas and Michaela Meyer. What a fight! These women, they're putting the men to shame. They're leaving heart and soul in the ring. Now we've got 2 fighters, 2 honest fighters. They don't dislike each other. Right now they have to be frenemies because they're friends, and when the bell goes, that friendship is there, and what's happened on Saturday will always be the elephant in the room. But these guys are friends and they're respectful. I saw Buatsi's team trying to dog Aziz's team yesterday in the public workout and vice versa. So if the fans are here, and the supporters are here for each fighter, you're going to hear it. It's going to be more of an emotional roller coaster for them than it will be for the fighters. As fighters, to do something like a gloves are off today, 2 days before a fight, it's mad. Because you've not only training, you've done all your brain work, you've got yourself right. The next time you want to see your fighter is at weigh-in, and after that, that's it. I don't want to spend time with you because I don't like it. Something could be said on stage that tweaks a man's mentality, and that could win or lose a fight. And this, I hope this is the first of many. But can you imagine doing it with somebody like Tyson Fury and AJ? Now, I'm not saying one fighter is better than the other. What I'm saying is Tyson Fury is the best at boxing foreplay, and doing that a couple of days before a fight, that make the difference between winning and losing. So for these guys to do this at this point, I think is commendable, and I think it will build. It'll be interesting.
The straw that could break the camel's back. An exciting card, like you said. We had Natasha Jonas, Michaela Mayer. I'm a bit torn on that one because I'm a big, massive Natasha Jonas fan. I've got so much time for her. I genuinely, off camera, I've got so much time for her. It was really weird, and I want you to explain this to me because obviously you're a former fighter, a pundit. When I'm talking about the fight, because I'm doing a live watch along, my commentary is suggesting Natasha Jonas is winning because this is live. However, when it got to the end of the fight, and it was somebody that pointed this out to me, I said that I think Michaela Mayer won that. How on earth was my commentary favouring Natasha Jonas the majority of the rounds, but then when I sat back and I got to the end and I thought, no, Michaela's got that. How does that even work?
I did the same.
How does that happen?
Emotionally, we're invested. Right. Emotionally, we're looking at Tasha. We want her to win, want to pull it through. But that's what you do. But then you've got to be subjective. You've got to be able to put it into a compartment and look at the fight. And I'll tell you, before it came to me, and he asked me what I thought. I thought, if they'd have given it Michaela by 1 round, I wouldn't have argued. I said a draw. It was that tight. Okay. I said a draw. It was that tight. But then when he gave it to Natasha, I thought she probably got it by 1 round if fair dues. But if they gave it to Michaela, I wouldn't have argued. I think Natasha won the first half of the fight. I think Michaela bossed the second half of the fight. Her youth and her size and her pace was enough. And I always said pace is going to be the key. I said this fight is going to be a tight points win. 3-1 fighter, and that's exactly what it was. So I understand the uproar, I understand the arguments, I understand some of it, even Natasha's fans saying, Nana, she didn't win that, because it was the last impression you were left it with. When you and I are looking at it, and we're big fans of Natasha, and we see the result, we think, well, you know what, have I looked at that wrong? You haven't looked at it wrong. What you've done is you saw the fight, tried to be objective. I wonder if you'd have thought the same if Michaela started fast and got beat up towards the back in the fight. You understand? So, and I think if Natasha didn't start off fast, she'd have clearly lost the fight. Fight would have been done. So, and I feel for Michaela. I went in the dressing room afterwards and Michaela, listen to me. You're going to be world champion. Don't let this break your heart. I said, stick it out. That fight won't happen again. They won't fight again, trust me. They'll probably put Natasha in with someone like Lauren Price. Or they'll get her a big fight where she gets paid well, she walks away from our sport this year. And I reckon if she'd have lost and sat on that fight, she'd have retired. I'm so happy for Natasha because in the twilight of her career, she's winning, she's picking up. It's been the sport has favoured her, rather than her favour the sport. So for Michaela, twice now, as far as she's concerned, she's been robbed as far as she was concerned. She'll end up being world champion for a long time. She's a very intelligent, articulate woman. And I wouldn't have argued if they gave her the fight by a round. I wouldn't have argued if she said a draw. But Natasha got it. Natasha got the rub of the green. She was at home. That's how it was. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's not as... Boxing is never quite as black and white as we'd hope it to be. But one of the things that I do want to touch on is obviously the winner of Joshua Buatsi, Dan Aziz. We've got Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol, the top boys, and this is just me being honest, as you know I am. The easier fight to make, because of relationships, I'm going to make the assumption, would be possibly Artur Beterbiev, because remember, both Dan Aziz and Joshua Buatsi had opportunities to fight Dimitri Bivol. And I'm bringing all of this in because Saudi's in the mix now. His Excellency, Turki Al Sheikh, is saying, all right, I've got the money. These are the fights that the fans want. Let's get this on. Why a Sky Sports boxer? Why are your fighters not out there in Saudi? And I guess you can answer to a point, but it's something that, you know, you're looking at the cards. Yeah, all right, you've had Martin Bakole. I'm not denying that, but there's been 2 other cards since. Where's your fighters?
Okay, let me just rewind a little bit. George Groves and Carl Froch fought each other. That fight should never have happened. Carl Froch wanted to fight Chavez in Las Vegas. It's show business. So the business side of Carl's show, Barry Hearn said, no, make it fight George Groves. Carl's like, why am I fighting him? What for? He said, this is a bigger draw, a bigger fight. It's in the world of boxing, you know, the fight against Julio Chavez is a great tick on your box. But in the world of show business, the biggest fight for you is George Groves. Carl didn't want to fight George Groves. He didn't want it to happen. They fought the first time. Because Carl didn't want this fight, thinking this is below me, he got showed his ass, he's got put down. So now there's a big demand for the fight. Everybody's arguing about this. Next minute, we're at Wembley, down the road, 80,000 people later. This is business. So business is this. I understand you're looking at Beterbiev, you're looking at Bivol, you're thinking why. But you've got to understand, these 2 boys here, when they get in to fight, there are bigger fights on a commercial level than those 2. Because you've got to think, there's Smith, there's Yard, there's Lyndon Arthur, you know, and so if those fought each other, these guys fight each other, but us here in the UK and money building for the UK, they're big fights if it's built up right, and I think Yard will be a great fight between these 2 here. In reality, if they're getting with Bivol, if they're getting with Beterbiev, I'm going to be honest, I don't think we've got British talent
on that level
that is going to beat them. That's my honest opinion. So and you might get offered enough dollars to get in there with them. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't think our talent is enough to beat them. So in the meantime, they can build up their stock, build up their experience, build up their money, build up their belief and confidence by fighting this pool of light heavyweight fighters that we've got in the top 5. And there'll be big fights, big money earning fights, instead of going there. Because remember, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubanks, they never boxed James Toney, Michael Nunn. They didn't fight them, man, because they fought Ross. And they was over the pond. And them man are looking over at England thinking, yo, come and fight me. Because Nigel Benn and Chris Eubanks, they were the ones getting the attention, earning the dollars, earning mad money. You understand? So what I'm saying to you is, for our stock honestly, our stock of light heavyweights, common sense, show business, I met these boys fight each other. Because they go over there and they fight Bivol, they fight Beterbiev, they'll get paid well. They ain't going to win. That's just my opinion. All
right then, but are we getting to this point where it's like, okay, we want them to fight because they're going to win, rather than we want them to fight because it's going to be a good fight? I mean, they're still good fights. And at the end of the day, like you said, they're number 1 and number 2, number 1 and number 2 world level. So why would you keep them at a domestic level?
That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying to you is that, so now, if the opportunity is there to say, I'm not fighting you, I'm going to fight you, then they're going to go with their heart and fight Beterbiev or Bivol. They're going to go there. Depending on the fashion of the loss, and I could be talking out, depending on the fashion, that might affect. How's it affected Callum Smith? How's it affected that loss, that beat up? How's it affected his confidence? Right? How's it affected him as a fighter? Now he's thinking, why? I'd get up for a Yard fight maybe, but I've never heard Callum Smith talk like that. So how's it affected him? So bad loss can ruin a fighter's career. So if you're going to do it, make sure you've eliminated all the other options. Say, right, now I'm ready. I've made dough. I've got myself a platform. Let's do this. I understand that. This is show business. In the world of boxing, I know they do it in MMA, one of them will fight 2. Number 1 will 2 will fight 1, and then number 1 will fight the world champion. That's what should happen. If you're looking at the longer term, you're looking at business, you've got to swing right, I'm here, and drop it like that.
Like I said, we want to start to see, promoters working with each other, I know it's something I saw yesterday that TNT, DAZN and Sky Sports Boxing was supposed to be airing. I think it was Gareth A. Davis that tweeted it. Going to be airing the Usyk versus Fury. So you're getting in on the broadcast. But when are we going to start to see your fighters possibly going over there to fight? That's the question. Because listen, I'm a fan, and we're all sitting there and we're saying, all right, then we've seen Wasserman on there, Lyndon Arthur. Yeah, all right, we've seen McCauley with Boxer, sort of. But the majority is Queensberry and Matchroom. So we're saying, when are you guys getting to get involved?
So Boxer working in association with Sky, and if Sky's now on the in that broadcasting platform, like it or not, their association with Boxer is going to be there. So that's a matter of time. It's not why not. So even if the other promoters didn't want Boxer involved, they've got to, because I'm quite sure that's the deal. But otherwise, Sky's affecting its own product. That's in my opinion. And so, yeah, that's in my opinion. So we've got to wait and see.
We're going to leave it there because I can talk to you forever. And I did fancy a bit of argument on here as well, but we'll have to save that for another time, won't we, Johnny?
Let's do it tomorrow, man.
I'm not here tomorrow. I'm not here for the fight. So today was your chance. Today was your chance for redemption.
We'll pick this up in a bit. Begone. See you later on.
Yeah.